We're making mini cheese rolls and absolutely delicious for breakfast or lunch. Very easy to make, although you do need a little bit of time. It does take over 1.5 hours to make your own rolls. For your cheese and garlic mini rolls, you need 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, 1.5 cups of hot water. You need 1 packet of instant yeast, 1.5 cups of grated cheese, and 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil and a teaspoon of salt. Dissolve 3 tablespoons of brown sugar in the warm water, and as soon as it reaches blood temperature, add your packet of instant yeast. Add your yeast to the warm water and add 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. Stir gently, and now we're going to wait for that yeast to foam. That usually takes about 5 minutes. Once your yeast is active, add 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour, a teaspoon of garlic powder, and 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. Now you do have to mix the salt and the garlic powder into that flour before you actually mix the flour into the yeast. Otherwise, the salt can deactivate your yeast. Use a wooden spoon or spatula to mix your dough together. You need to add half the grated cheese to your dough before you're going to put your hands in there and knead it. Knead your dough for about 5 to 7 minutes. You need to end up with a clean bowl. That's one of the indicators that you have done the dough correctly. If your dough is a little wet, add a tablespoon of flour at a time and no more. If it's a little dry, add a tablespoon of water until you come up with a nice elastic consistency and a clean bowl. Cover with a clean tea towel and put it into a warm place for about 30 minutes to rise. After about 30 minutes, your dough should have doubled in size, and now we're ready to form our mini rolls and put them onto a greased baking sheet. Once you've rolled your mini rolls onto your baking sheet, you're going to add the grated cheese on top. I've used a nice sharp cheddar here. You can also add a shake of black pepper and some sea salt. That's very nice. And then we're going to allow these mini rolls to rise for another 30 minutes by covering with a tea towel, putting in a warm place. If you do have any dough over, you can actually pop that into the freezer and it freezes well for up to 3 months.